For the record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Doctor's Hospital, peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. Kirk Market, experience a world of choice. JN Money, from abroad to Yad. And Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
We ask our listeners and viewers to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Live from Radio Cayman Studio.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the Record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
With Orrett Connor.
Informative, impartial, insightful. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair. Today is Wednesday, the 13th day of May 2026, right here in the Cayman Islands. And if you are curious to know what may have been reported on this date in 1965. Let me make sure that's the date. Yes, Tradewinds newspaper. Headlines in the Tradewinds newspaper. 13th of May, 1965. No empty chairs at Dragonair's show. So Byron Lee and the Dragonaires had performed in the Cayman Islands, and that was the headlines in the Tradewinds newspaper. So we hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on our roads, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road, because the life you save may just be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, or if you've celebrated one over the past few days, we want to wish you a happy birthday or a happy belated birthday. And to remind you that, For the Record, birthday shout outs brought to you by Coca-Cola and the Credit Union. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands. You should accept no substitutes. From generation to generation, Coca-Cola is still a Cayman classic. And the Credit Union. The Credit Union looks forward to serving the people of the Cayman Islands for the next 50 years and beyond. Those of you who have lost loved ones, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing. And we note here, Cayman's legal pioneer, Mr. Ian Boxall, has passed away at the age of 82. That's reported in today's Cayman Compass. We want to extend our sincere condolences to his family, as well, Simon and the rest of the family. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we want to wish you a speedy recovery. Big shout out, Mr. Joel Wilson. Big shout out to you this morning as well. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension, For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy and sometimes dangerous roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I have the distinct honor and pleasure of being your host. My name is Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. This week and next week, you will also hear me on Tuesdays and Thursdays on The Buzz as well, filling in for Miss Catherine Miller. So if you want to join us this morning in the conversation until 8 o'clock, at 8:15, we will have members of the opposition in the studio with us. We have a toll-free number that is provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037, 949-6990. We have a WhatsApp number, 925-3261 as well. And of course, if you call in, you will be received by that beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson as well. So first of all, let's look at the birthday shout-outs this morning. And of course, if you know someone who's celebrating a birthday, I got to slow down talking, who's celebrating a birthday or any other momentous occasion, please share that information with us right here on For the Record, and we will give them a birthday shout-out, proudly brought to you by Coca-Cola and the Credit Union. So we see Miss Kimberly Walton. She is celebrating her birthday today, along with Linda Young, also celebrating a birthday today, and Dewin, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Dewin Borden, celebrating a birthday today. Also, recent birthdays, Ms. Jennifer Ebanks celebrated her birthday yesterday on the 12th, Tuesday the 12th of May as well. Coming up, upcoming birthdays, Martinez Frederick celebrating a birthday tomorrow. Woo, Miss Twyla Escalante, she is celebrating a birthday tomorrow as well, along with Jeremiah Ransom. Is that a stage name as well, or that's his name, Jeremiah Ransom? Okay, MHGMM. Not sure what that's all about there, but he's celebrating a birthday tomorrow as well. So, folks, don't forget, if you know someone who's celebrating a birthday or any other momentous occasion, we share that information with us, and we will give them a shout out right here on For the Record as well. So on Monday's show, we had Lord Graham call in and speaking about the loss of Caymanian status. And we know that in the news, a subsequent request for a judicial review that was not honored. So I promised that I would do some research in terms of the loss of Caymanian status, and I will refer you to section, bear with me, had it all here, in relation to the grant of Caymanian status, provision relating to Caymanians. So we have section 26, part 5, provisions relating to Caymanian status, section 26, and I will go directly to the revocation of the right to be Caymanian. And it depends on what grounds you obtain Caymanian status. So section 33 talks about the right to be Caymanian that is and it is granted by the board. It can be revoked where the holder has applied false or misleading information in a material particular to the board, where the holder has ordinarily resided outside the islands for a period of 5 years and can no longer be said to be settled in the islands. Also, where the marriage of the holder, being the spouse of a Caymanian, is deemed by the board to have been a marriage of convenience. Also, where the civil partnership of the holder, being the civil partner of a Caymanian, is deemed by the board to have been a civil partnership of convenience. Where within 3 years of the grant of the spouse of a civil partner or a Caymanian of the right to be Caymanian under this or any earlier law, the marriage or civil partnership of the holder, 1, is, in the opinion of the board or director of work, has broken down. 2, has declined to the point where the parties have separated as a result of a decree of a competent court and or a deed of separation. And 3, no longer subsists. The holder of the right to be Caymanian by entitlement under this act or under any other analogous provision of any earlier law. And then it goes on to speak about the right may lose that right where the holder has not been legal or an ordinary resident in the island for a period of 7 years immediately before reaching the age of 18. So there are lost provisions for various things. But the one that is applicable to the story in case of Mr. Conover Watson that has made the headlines in the Cayman Islands, Section 34, Subsection 1 speaks to revocation on conviction. And this is extremely important because the wording of the legislation was so important. Where the grantee, right, so it means that you have been granted, where the grantee of the right to be Caymanian or of Caymanian status under this, and here's the operative part of it, folks, under this or any earlier law, right? So it not only covers the law that is currently in effect, but any previous law as well. So the person was not grandfathered in. You weren't grandfathered in to a certain extent, right? So I'm going to read again. Where the grantee of the right to be Caymanian or of Caymanian status under this or any earlier law is convicted by any court in the islands or elsewhere of an offense, A, for which the grantee is sentenced to an immediate term of imprisonment of 12 months or more, other than for non-payment of a fine, and in respect of which conviction that person's right of appeal have been exhausted, or which, in the opinion of the grantor, was made possible by, facilitated by, or connected with the grant, the grantor may revoke the grant of that person's on that person's own motion. So that is the grantor. Where the court referred to in subsection 1 is a foreign court, the offense committed must have been an offense that would be recognized as an offense in the islands. So folks, there it is, plain and simple. If you have been granted the right to be Caymanian, you have been granted it. That not by entitlement, not Caymanian status by entitlement, but if you have been granted Caymanian status, which is a discretionary act by the grantor. In most cases, it would be the Caymanian Status and Permanent Residency Board, and the person is sentenced, first of all, where the grantee of the right to be Caymanian or of Caymanian status under this or any earlier law is convicted by any court in the islands or elsewhere of an offense for which the grantee is sentenced to an immediate term of imprisonment of 12 months or more, other than for non-payment of a fine, and in respect of which conviction that person's right of appeal has been exhausted, or which, in the opinion of the grantor, was made possible by, facilitated by, or connected with the grant. The grantor may revoke the grant on that person's own motion. Now, there's another phrase in here where it talks about where which conviction and in respect of which conviction that person's right of appeal have been exhausted. I won't go into all of the details of the particular case, but there was an appeal that was launched to the Immigration Appeals Tribunal. The decision of the grantor to revoke was upheld by that tribunal, and then the case moved forward for whatever reasons. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, I just want to point out some little other quirks that may occur because of our legislation, and the hint would be whether or not the individual was also naturalized as a British overseas territory citizen, and if that is the case, what that person is still entitled to by virtue of our immigration legislation. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Yeah, let me tell you, no AC when I was a boy. I still remember just how good an ice cold Coca-Cola was.
The part is, the coolest moms and dads always had Coca-Cola or parties.
The sound when you pop the top, and the fizzle, and that, after that first sip.
Coca-Cola, from generation to generation, that ice cold bubbly. Coca-Cola, still a Cayman classic.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Cineco's parametric insurance after hurricanes is now available for motor policies. Fixed automatic payouts cover incidental vehicle expenses like fuel, cleanup, and minor repairs. No claims, no damage required. $200 for comprehensive policies or $100 for third-party policies. Available exclusively through Cineco and included with all new motor insurance policies and upon renewal for current policies. Visit Cineco.ky today. Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone, and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
This is For the Record.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Again, just to remind our audience, for those of you who may have access to the Immigration Transition Act, I actually am reading from the 2022 revision. If you want to know about the provisions relating to Caymanian status, Part 5 of that Act, starting with Section 26 in relation to Caymanian status. So before we go to the caller, okay, we'll take the caller and I can cover this afterwards. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, dear Mr. I'm posing as a lawyer this morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Got you wearing your legal hat this morning.
No, not really, just my knowledge of immigration law after working with it for, so long, but so many changes. I was actually involved up until, when was it? When the new legislation came into effect in 1st of January 2004, I believe it was, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Ose, what you read there, it do not specify the type of offense, just basing on the duration of the sentence.
Right, precisely.
Am I correct?
Precisely.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Not as there's a section in the Constitution where forbids persons from running for
if they're convicted for dishonesty. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dishonesty. Mm-hmm. Any offense pertaining is the exact word. Mm-hmm. Dishonesty. So whether a conviction was recorded mm-hmm. against you, or whether you were not sent to be rehabilitated,
right?
Once you were convicted,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that's a very, very large brush they're painting that with, OC, because I always have this example because I often talk to a cousin of mine who would love to run for election,
mm-hmm.
who had some little stupid offense that he were not even had to pay or do anything, but just because he pleaded guilty.
Well, changing the Constitution is going to be a little bit more difficult than changing the law.
Right.
Much more difficult.
So I always use this example of suppose we have a kid that jump over my fence and steal my breadfruits, and I'm such a person where I call the police and get that kid at 16 years old convicted for stealing my breadfruits.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, pertaining dishonesty. And he's about to go off to college, and the judge says, you know what, good kid, we don't going to give him
no conviction recorded.
Right, because that happened
mm-hmm.
a lot. I know that happened to
right.
a man and stuff.
That means it will never show up on your police
on the record,
certificate.
Right.
Yes.
Right. 20 years after that kid is back, in society, came home as a doctor, saving lives, doing all this kind of thing, and he feel it fit to run for office. That he cannot run. he would not be able to stand for election.
Are you certain of that? Because if there's no conviction recorded, then it is you were never it was as if you were never convicted. There's no record of it, so it can't. If there's no record there, you can't use it against you.
No, but that's not the case. There is somebody in our midst who was convicted only because he pleaded guilty of a simple thing, but it was pertaining.
But was the conviction recorded? That's the key part. Whether or not the conviction is recorded, and that is why. But he
was convicted, and that section of the Constitution also goes and say that in any country.
But you understand what I'm saying, Lord Graham? If the conviction is,
how do we know? How we do know then? In another country where the person was convicted, whether the conviction was recorded.
Then the same that would apply here, I would imagine, would apply elsewhere. If there's no conviction recorded, there is no conviction.
Okay. Or say, all right, he was convicted. He served no term, and now when he goes to get a police record, he has a clear police record.
Precisely, yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But still, that is held against him because he was convicted.
Something's wrong there.
You see?
Yeah, something's wrong there. Let's go back to this particular case, though, that we're talking about with Mr. Canova Watson. My question would be whether, and I can't say I'm certain, but there's a strong possibility that he's also a British Overseas Territories citizen, which means he holds a Cayman passport. And we need to look at Section 36, subsection 4 of our Immigration Act that speaks to the fact that it says a person who is a British Overseas Territories citizen by virtue of a connection with the islands, by registration, by entitlement, under the British Nationality Act 1981 or any act preceding, amending, or replacing that act shall have the right to remain permanently in the islands and shall cease to have that right where that person ceases to be a British Overseas Territories citizen, where the person has subsequent to the grant of the certificate been ordinarily resident outside the islands for a period of where the Cabinet is satisfied that the grant of a certificate was obtained by fraud, falsely representing the concealment of any fact. I'm not sure whether or not what role Cabinet would have in terms of the person being naturalized or registered as a British Overseas Territories citizen, because Cabinet has no say in the British Nationality Act whatsoever. But my question would be, if any individual is a British Overseas Territories citizen by registration, by entitlement, you could have a situation where your Caymanian status has been revoked, which means that you're no longer a Caymanian, but you are a British Overseas Territories citizen. And if it's by registration, by entitlement, the person has the right to reside in the Cayman Islands. So there's a difference between revocation of Caymanian status and deportation. You can't deport a person who has the right to remain in the Cayman Islands under this section. It could possibly present a dilemma where in a situation, a person who has had their Caymanian status revoked may be able to live in the Cayman Islands, but not necessarily to work unless they're able to get a work permit because they're no longer considered a Caymanian. Again, one of the drawbacks of us being governed by two different pieces of legislation, one in relation to nationality, one in relation to Caymanian status. Very quickly.
Well,
got
see,
a minute. Mhm.
The word entitlement. That's the first thing we got to.
That's defined in our legislation. I'll find that for you in a second. I made sure I looked that up yesterday as well.
Here for 50 years, he's entitled. So what we got to define what's entitlement. But that's what I would say. Eh?
Mike, like I said, it is in the legislation. I didn't put my thumb on it right away, but there is a definition of
entitlement.
by entitlement. Yes.
Read that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. We've reached that time, top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. When we return, we will have guests in the studio, so please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Island.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. For the first time in 7 weeks, gas prices slipped just a bit. According to the Utility Regulation and Competition Office, the average price of self-service regular gas fell 1 whole penny to $6.12 a gallon. The average price for premium self-service is down 2 cents from the last check on May 6th to $6.48, while diesel fell 3 cents to $6.80 a gallon. According to Offreg, you can get the cheapest self-service regular gas at Mike's on Walker's Road, where it's selling for $5.99. On the diesel side of things, Refuel has the lowest at $6.38 a gallon. Folks in Cayman Brac are still paying $6.24 a gallon, and it's $6.96 for those in Little Cayman. For context, the average price for a gallon of regular gasoline in Florida is $4.31 USD a gallon. You can find the full breakdown of local gas prices at offreg.ky. Now, speaking of gas, the finance minister recently laid out the situation with regards to Cayman's fuel reserves in the face of global supply issues related to the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran. The Honorable Rolston Anglin told MPs the quantities of fuel reserves held by Sol and Rubis at any given point are not fixed, but vary with shipping schedules, storage turnover, and operational requirements.
For fuel operations on Grand Cayman, both entities follow a standard practice of replenishing fuel on a monthly basis, topping up to maximum capacity within their available storage limit. For fuel operations on the sister islands, fuel is replenished every 3 months in Cayman Brac, topping up to maximum capacity within the available storage limits. Little Cayman is topped up from the Cayman Brac reserves as needed.
The Honorable Rolston Anglin provided MPs with an example of capacity. So on April 20th, there were 1.2 million imperial gallons of regular gas in the Cayman Islands. And if there had been no fuel top-up, the gas would have been used up by May 21st. That's just over 4 weeks. For diesel, the window is even shorter. The 2.7 million imperial gallons on island on April 20th would have been used up by May 10th with no top-up, just under 3 weeks. The fuel did arrive, though. Grand Cayman got a top-up at the beginning of May. Mr. Anglin also stressed that both suppliers will maintain an additional minimum of approximately 12 days diesel supply for energy generation at all times. When asked if there were contingency plans by local fuel suppliers to source fuel from other sources than the U.S. Gulf Coast,
the short answer is no, and part of that reason is I want to get through what the legislative framework ought to look like and how we see the industry and how it ought to be regulated, and then have a wholesome discussion with the industry.
MPs had the discussion in Parliament after the opposition submitted a parliamentary question. And in other news,
join New York-based pianist Meg Lowenthal Akabas for an elegant evening exploring 2 remarkable musical voices across time.
K-Musica's Marius Gaina invites you to tomorrow's piano recital, Romantic and Contemporary Beauty, featuring pieces by Frédéric Chopin and Philip Glass.
Trained with renowned musicians connected to the Juilliard School and Manhattan School of Music, Meg brings exceptional artistry and sensitivity to the stage with a career spanning solo performance, chamber music, and ballet collaboration.
The concert is tomorrow at John Gray Memorial Church in West Bay at 6:30 p.m. Get your tickets at eventbrite.com. All money raised supports K-Musica's after-school programs that provide free instruments and lessons for local students. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which takes us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller.
BBC News with Moira Alderson. Donald Trump has arrived in Beijing as he begins his first official visit to China by a US president in almost a decade. Talks with President Xi are expected to cover their tense trade relationship, the war in Iran and US arms sales to Taiwan. Gunshots have been heard at the Philippines Senate, where a legislator has sought refuge from extradition to the International Criminal Court. Ronald De La Rosa is accused of killing dozens of people during former President Duterte's war on drugs. The French authorities have confined 1,700 people to a cruise ship docked in Bordeaux after a passenger died from suspected norovirus. Around 50 other people are showing symptoms of the virus. BBC News.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio. For the Health of It, heard on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. and repeated on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. Brought to you by UHealth International, University of Miami Health System. International patients go to UHealth International for consultations with renowned physicians, advanced treatment technologies, leading-edge medical therapies, and state-of-the-art surgical procedures. Whatever your particular reason for going to UHealth International, you will receive customized medical care delivered within a compassionate, multicultural setting. The care you need when you need it. This year, we're taking the Fet for a Cause one step further. Welcome to One Fet. Get ready for an unforgettable night featuring some of the top DJs on island, bringing you the ultimate vibe. From start to finish is pure vibes, good energy, and non-stop music. And the best part, 100% of the proceeds go towards supporting the Cayman Islands Cancer Society and autism acceptance. So this year, you're not just partying, you're partying with a purpose. It all kicks off Friday, May 22nd, 8 p.m. at Sandbar. Don't miss your chance to be a part of something bigger. Get your tickets now at the boxoffice.ky and get ready to take over the streets on Saturday, May 23rd with the Fet for a Cause family. One Fet, one vibe, one cause, one unforgettable experience. One Fet sponsors AI Rentals, CarQuest, Ace, Parker's, Coca-Cola, Tortuga, Stingray Media, Sandbar, Mike's Ice, Radio Cayman, Valvoline, and DNB Audio Technic.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Britcade, where people come first.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 82 degrees. Relative humidity is 76%. The barometric pressure is 29.97 inches and falling. Winds are calm. Overnight low temperature was 78 degrees. Synopses indicate light and variable winds are expected as the pressure gradient weakens due to the presence of a stationary front along northern Florida. Early morning showers are possible over the sister islands of Cayman Brac and Little Cayman as clouds drift off of Cuba. Localized showers can occur in the afternoon due to light winds coupled with daytime heating. Satellite imagery shows scattered clouds across Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Forecast for the Cayman Islands for today is calling for cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers, and temperatures will rise to the upper 80s with a heat index near 102 degrees Fahrenheit. Your winds will be light and variable, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Tonight, mainly fair skies with a 20% chance of showers, and temperatures falling to the upper 70s tonight. Your winds will be light and variable, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Low tide will be this afternoon at 6 minutes past 1, high tide tonight at 7:46. The sun will set this evening at 6:51 and will rise tomorrow morning at 5:51. And the outlook is calling for a gradual increase in winds and seas from Friday as a high-pressure system builds over the eastern seaboard of the United States. And that's the very latest on your weather report.
Let's hear it for your Wildcat cheerleaders.
Aunt Angie, weren't you a cheerleader?
The best in the Western Hemisphere. Until I attempted that switch kick, double twist roundhouse.
Huh?
Exactly. I must have been in the air for 20 seconds before I fell into that snare drum. I set a world record, though, and thankfully I could trust the CG Medical Portal with my claims. All 37 of them.
The CG Medical Portal. Safe and secure. CG Brit-K. Good like that.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Brit-K, where people come first.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Cayman Art Week is back and bigger than ever, with art on show at over 50 venues across all 3 islands from Tuesday the 26th to Sunday the 31st of May. From one-off pop-ups and creative collaborations to open studios and late-night gallery hours, all events are free and there's art on sale for every budget. Join a guided bus tour or visit at your own pace. You'll find everything you need to know at CaymanArtWeek.com.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Good morning. Let's check in with traffic, see what's slowing and what's flowing. Slow-moving traffic on Cool Road heading to the Georgetown area. Expect delays. And coming off of Agnes Way and Bobby Thompson Way, steady traffic. Huldah Avenue, steady traffic as well. And as we turn our attention to the east, Shamrock Road further up, traffic is at a moderate pace. Further down, a little different story. As traffic a little steadier as you approach the Linford Pearson Highway, but nothing to worry about too much, at least from this vantage point. On the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is moderate in both directions. Coming from the West Bay four-way stop, flowing at a moderate pace. And as we turn attention to North Sound Road, flowing moderately, as well as the Industrial Park area. Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue, traffic flowing pretty good in both directions. That's what's happening on your roads. Join us again at about 10 minutes past 12. We'll give you another look at traffic. Remember, click it or ticket.
Start your year off right with Subway's Fresh Fit menu. 4 protein-packed subs with 20 grams or more protein, under 500 calories, and loaded with full servings of crisp veggies on hearty multi-grain bread. Try the grilled chicken and avocado, the ham and turkey stacker, the seasoned steak and avocado, or the turkey and ranch delight. Big flavor, plenty of protein, and fresh veggies in every bite. Fuel your day the Fresh Fit way. Only at Subway. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
RC Fusion is proudly brought to you by TCE Paint Shop, Farmers and Artisans Retail Market, and My Canda Cleaners. RC Fusion, weekdays 10 a.m. to 12 midday, right here on Radio Cayman 89.9.
RC Fusion.
Radio Cayman Energy.
With Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio, we have the Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Joey Hugh, the Member of Parliament representing the constituents of Red Bay, MP Mr. Roy Tatum, and we will be joined by the Deputy Speaker.
That is correct. The Deputy Speaker will be in at 9.
9, okay.
Ms. Pearlina McGaw-Lumsden, Georgetown West. And I had something pop up, so I will also vacate my seat at 9, and I will be ably replaced by my deputy, Kenneth Bryan from Georgetown Central.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So, gentlemen, good morning. Welcome back to For the Record.
Thank you, and good morning, OC. Good to be back this morning. Always lots to talk about and always enjoy the show. I want to wish everyone a very happy Wednesday. Take your time driving in. And a huge shout out to everyone in the Sister Islands and, of course, the constituency of Georgetown North.
And good morning, OC. Good to be back.
Morning.
And I'll also say good morning to Grand Cayman, my constituents in the Red Bay constituency, as well as I'll join with Joey, as well as my friends and family in the Sister Islands, Kimmerbrook and Little Cayman. And before I forget to do this, I want to just mention 2 requests I received for birthdays.
Okay.
One from Miss Julie for her daughter Kimberly, whose birthday it is, and wishing her a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful birthday, Kimberly. She's a fantastic individual, always smiling, always bright and cheery, and I know she has lots of friends. I know she'll have a wonderful birthday, and she has a fantastic family. And also want to read from a constituent of mine who sent me this morning, MP Roy. Please give belated birthday shout out to our Parliament Deputy Sergeant at Arms, Christopher Clark. This is from his mom. So we love you, Chris, from mom, dad, sisters, brothers, and the entire Clark and Facey family. Happy birthday, Chris. That's another brilliant young man.
Happy birthday, Chris. And OC, since I'm taking off mid-program, I also want to take the opportunity to wish a few of my constituents, Miss Sophia Bush, who is known in the areas of Georgetown North as my right-hand, left-hand soldier.
Foot soldier.
Foot soldier. Her birthday is on Saturday, and I will be traveling. Unfortunately, I'm traveling on Friday, so I won't be here next week.
Okay.
But I want to wish Sophie, as I call her, a wonderful birthday on Saturday. I hope to see her before I leave. And on Sunday is from the Rockhole area, Mr. Lloyd Brown. You would know him. He's playing a Tornado band.
Yes, Lloyd.
Yeah. So his birthday is coming up on Sunday, and he hasn't been well recently, so I want to wish him a very happy birthday when it comes, and hope that he's feeling up to it and gets up and enjoys the day, and hope he sees many, many more.
Okay.
So, OC, I think we'll kick it off this morning by talking about our listening tour.
Okay.
That we held last week, Thursday, and actually, I'm going to let Mr. Tatum lead on this one, since especially because it was in his constituency, and I know he wants to thank all of those from his constituency that made the effort to come out, and a lot of the discussion was around the concerns in the constituency. So, Roy, why don't you lead us off?
Leader Joy, thanks very much. Yeah, it was a Thursday night, a working night, and but for those who made the effort to come out, I'm extremely grateful. I said it that night. I'll say it again. I'll be upfront. It was a small group, but again, it's a working night. But I really, really appreciate the effort they made. And Dr. Frank was there, so which was good to see. I thank him that he made some valuable contributions.
Small but very, very interactive.
Very
vocal
interactive.
Group.
Yeah,
Yes.
very vocal. Yeah, there's no misunderstanding what they meant at the end of the night.
Do you find that it is more challenging now to get people to come out to meetings, and whether or not the strategy needs to be changed or have a combination of things? I know sometimes people are reluctant to say, well, we're going to, you can join us by Zoom, or, it's going to be, on YouTube or whatever. But if you want to reach as many people as possible, then I guess you need to have as many options as possible for them to be able to participate.
Give your thoughts now.
Well, see, I think, first of all, this particular meeting, we had to postpone because it was scheduled on the day of the landfill fire.
Right.
and we knew nobody was going anywhere that afternoon but sitting in traffic. But yeah, the thing is that this is billed as a listening tour. It's where we actually want to hear from people, and people ask us questions and have dialogue. And unfortunately, we are not at the age yet where the majority of our population, because of age and other reasons, are at the level of platforms, participating in the platforms where you can communicate back and forth. We have things like something called Slido that you can ask questions and all that, but even I don't know how to use that. You scan a barcode and you participate. So it's a town hall meeting, but you're not there. But you can submit questions and things. I think that will certainly be the future, and we will have to look at whether or not we want to do a combination of the two things. But really what we wanted to do is get people from the community to come out and speak to us and talk to us. We walk around, we do visits and stuff like that, but it's an opportunity to have the whole group there and for people to ask. And some very, very good questions arose from the meeting. So that's my views.
Yeah, and I agree. I don't speak for myself, especially being an MP. You get invited to lots of stuff, and it's tough sometimes thinking you gotta tear yourself away from your family, and but I have to do what I have to do. But when you're when you're just a regular guy like I used to be, and you come home at the end of the day, you just want to chat with your wife and family, see how your kids are doing, what's happening with the homework. So I get it, and we'll need to, I think, rethink how, as the leader just said, how we do some of these things. But still, it was obvious from that evening that there were people who were glad to be there, right? And one lady even said that we need, because it was publicized quite a bit on Radio Cayman. We had probably 9 or so adverts on Radio Cayman. It was on social media. It was in our WhatsApp groups. So we need to find other ways to get to people. But the main thing that someone mentioned to me is that with these WhatsApp groups, people can get access to me almost immediately. Right, to every MP immediately. So they do have other ways, electronic ways to. So all of this in the mix means that that doesn't always drive people to want to get in their car and go to a place. But we'll rethink it and see how we move forward. But I don't want to play down the value of that night. There are people who are glad to be there to talk in person. And to be very adamant with us on certain things, right? So it was actually quite useful, and nothing's better than looking somebody in the eye and hearing what they're expressing and how they're feeling. You don't get that same interaction through a WhatsApp group, right? So that I think is something we need to continue doing, but try to see how we can best spread the word and try to get people out. So, but on that note, just to go through some key issues that were raised with us. Lack of visibility of community beat officers was certainly one, and it's tough for the police. They've reintroduced the community policing, which is something that I campaigned on, something I still think needs more work needs to be done with. The commissioner has acknowledged that. I think he said recently there's still 200 odd staff short. During finance committee, I questioned whether we were doing enough to try to get new police officers, especially try to getting Caymanian police officers. He said he was expecting that by the middle of this year we would have been in decent shape. I think that's what he said. That doesn't seem to be the case. I'll try to have a chance to speak with him before next time we're in Parliament. But the gist of it is that community policing is hugely important. We have one community police officer for the whole Prospect constituency and Red Bay constituency. That's a large area. And I think I have this right. I think he's only on like 3 days and something, off 3 days and on 3 days. So you can't really expect to see very much of him throughout those two constituencies. But I think he tries to do a decent job. But we need to get more. We need to get that beefed up more if we want to solve crimes within communities. the RCIPS needs to have somebody who is available, who can make the relationships so that people feel comfortable calling him. Not just about I have a strange car in my neighborhood, but things like I am aware of this particular person who is doing these particular things.
And even provide follow-up on situations that may arise. Yeah.
You want to add in,
Sure. I don't know what happened. What we heard was the seniors in particular. They say when they see the blue light, they even feel safer, and just having that presence. And it reminded me of the program that Commissioner Baines had started, which really didn't take off in the way it should. Certainly not in my constituency, and that was the safety officer program. And the safety officers, while they were not your trained officer to do arrest and do investigations and stuff, it also meant that they would not be pulled off of the beat when there's emergencies or shortages in other departments and stuff. And it was supposed to be those safety officers that did these welfare checks on the seniors, kept an eye on the playgrounds and that sort of stuff, because they had a direct line into the RCIPS, and they could get action or even into other agencies such as Children and Family Services and stuff. But I met my very first safety officer 6 years ago, and I don't think I have met a safety officer since that.
Yeah, the
I
numbers
see
are
the cars.
Yeah.
I see the cars every now and then driving through the window up and stuff, but I couldn't tell you. I've never been reached by my safety officer or who my safety officer is. Our beat officers, we start a program, we do well, but then they may get called off on special operations, and then landfill fire, for instance, and then they work 4 or 5 days straight. Then they get a whole week or a week and a half off recovery, and needed recovery, because they work very long hours and stuff. And
because of the staff shortage.
Because of the staff shortage. So because of other emergencies. So when you start programs and you start doing things, you get that interruption, and it's always difficult. But the key takeaway from the listening tour was that the seniors would like to have more of that interaction, those welfare checks. Even if the officer drives in and blows a horn on their way through the window, they just want to know that somebody's checking on them. One senior told us that both of her neighbors, including herself, are all at home alone and elderly, and they all would love to have that that sense of safety and comfort. And our seniors help build this country, OC, so they deserve to feel safe. They deserve to feel respected, and they deserve our support.
Certainly, yes.
Yeah. Just to add, the safety officers came out of one of our manifesto promises. We didn't call it that. We called it something else. But it was the community policing, one of the things that we campaigned on. And I was pleased to see the commission at the time take it up. The name doesn't matter. And we borrowed the idea from what was going on, I believe, in the UK. But those safety officers are supposed to be part of the community, so they already know people, and people know them.
They should be there in the mornings at the various primary schools.
Exactly.
Ensuring the kids get out of the car safely, get across the road safely. All of those sorts of things. When school opens, when school closes, in between that time, they go out and visit the elderly, the shut-ins, check the playgrounds, make sure that there's no illegal activity happening in the playgrounds or damage. That's the sort of stuff we understood the safety officers to be, but it just never ever matured to that. And maybe that's something to review again, because well-trained officers are often needed in other areas as well. And also, when we do get a really good beat officer, they recognize the beat officer's abilities, and then he gets promoted or she gets promoted on to something else. So, and I think maybe even the safety officers OC could be something we could look at for retired police officers. Just have them do that. It would be something to discuss in the future. This is why we have this listening tour, because these wonderful ideas come out of it when we get a room full of citizens talking about what their needs are.
And Commissioner Walton, his heart is in the right place, and he is doing a good job, I think. We just need to try to get more Caymanians interested in policing. So let's see where we are in a few months.
They won't listen to me. What I say is that we need to provide some signing incentives.
I agree with you.
Recruitment incentives for Caymanians, especially those with degrees, college degrees, who may have an interest in joining if the incentive is there for them to do that. Those are people that you will find that are much more easy to train because,
And you have police officers leaving because the pressures of the job, the long hours, the interruptions with family, and they're finding that they're able to actually go into other parts of government. Even some have gone into the private sector for more pay. Probably some stress, yes, but more pay and far better hours. So we need to see what it is we need to do to try to maintain the officers we have, as well as recruit. So I don't disagree with you at all. It was something I raised during Finance Committee. I'll just run down a few other quick concerns. You need to go to break?
Yep. Folks, we're going to go to a commercial break. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Cineco's parametric insurance after hurricanes is now available for motor policies. Fixed automatic payouts cover incidental vehicle expenses like fuel, cleanup, and minor repairs. No claims, no damage required. $200 for comprehensive policies or $100 for third-party policies. Available exclusively through Cineco and included with all new motor insurance policies and upon renewal for current policies. Visit Cineco.ky today. Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite Band-Aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. Don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
Babe, not tonight. You keep poking me and I need to be rested for meetings tomorrow.
What? I was almost asleep. That's the mattress spring I keep telling you about, not me. We really need to get a new mattress.
Tossing and turning, back hurting, can't sleep? It might be time to turn in your old mattress and go to bed with a new one. Browse the huge mattress showroom at Brand Source Home Gallery and pick the perfect mattress today. With mattresses to suit every budget, Brand Source Home Gallery stocks a wide selection of sizes and styles like pillow top and gel memory foam. So stop tossing and turning and sleep better tonight with a new mattress from Brand Source Home Gallery, Dawson Drive, Industrial Park.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman celebrating 50 years of a golden pearly shell broadcast service to the Cayman Islands community. 50 years over 6 decades, enriching the Cayman Islands community with entertainment and content covering inspiration, current affairs, news, CI historical and cultural enrichments, and a wider view of the world around us. Happy 50th anniversary, Radio Cayman.
This is For the Record.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. For those of you who are just joining us, we have in the studio with us the Member of Parliament representing the constituency of Red Bay, Mr. MP, Mr. Roy Tatum, and the Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Joey Hugh. Gentlemen, back over to you.
Thank you, Josie. Let's continue. We were discussing or listening to on some issues that were brought up to us. I'll just mention a few more. Concerns surrounding derelict vehicles in neighborhoods. It seems like sometimes as soon as you get some of these moved, within a week or two, there's others right back there. And in Parliament, Leader Joanna, if you want to mention the issue that you brought up, because I think we need to try to get something done faster than it currently is on these. I'll let Leader Joey speak to the questions that he asked.
Yeah, we in doing some research, and we want to thank the Department of Environmental Health for the work they do, and they get a hard time for these derelict vehicles, but the truth is that their law is quite antiquated as well, and they have a process that they have to follow. Mm-hmm. And quite often they put the stickers on, and persons will tear the stickers off, or they'll move the vehicle, tow it away, and bring it back a day later, a couple of days later, or a week later, or whatever. And then also the police get a bad rap as well, but they will write the tickets, and a lot of the times the cars aren't registered in the name of the person that now owns it, and the owner is in Thailand, Jamaica, wherever across the world. And so I did some research and found out that I remembered, OC, you remember the police tow truck?
Yes.
You never left your car anywhere because that tow truck was always driving around and would tow it away.
Precisely.
And so I checked the traffic law, and the traffic law gives the police I asked the Deputy Governor if the police have in a parliamentary question. I asked Honourable Deputy Governor if the police own a tow truck, and he said no, they don't, but they use private towing companies. So I then, asked the Deputy Governor if he was aware that the traffic law empowers the police to tow away vehicles, and I think it for 5 reasons, including obstructing traffic, derelict vehicles, blocking access, a wide variety of reasons. So, what we are going to advocate for, and I know that the Commissioner's off the island, and once I get back and have a meeting with him, is we're going to encourage the police to start utilizing that section of the law. The law also calls for the police to have a compound, or an impound. And I think they do have one, because they do have to take vehicles from accidents for investigations and other things, forensic evidence and stuff. So they must have one.
Well, they did have one on opposite Jose's gas station.
They used to, and I know they're building that's a new building.
The weather service,
the service.
That's a weather service building.
So, but this, I think, is the answer to it, because whoever now owns that car, whether it's registered in their name or not, will have to come and claim it. And what they should do is make that person at that time also go and transfer the vehicle if they want to get it back. And then the police under the law, have 2 options. If no one claims it, auction the car off, or utilize the DEH law and have it removed and taken to the landfill. So, I think this is a solution that will help us all, because people right now, no one fears getting a ticket for various reasons, as I just mentioned. And once DEH has to confirm that the vehicle is dilapidated and not registered, not working, and then put a sticker on it, and then people just tear the sticker off, or they move the vehicle up the street, and that's the end of it. So we think that if the police would utilize the traffic laws that is available to them to have these vehicles towed, and provide some business for our local tow companies.
Yeah. But if I recall, when we may have had one of the ministers on For the Record talking about changes in legislation that would compress the time frame within which things could be done, so that there was more efficiency in removing derelict vehicles from the road. I wonder where
yeah, I think there was some mention during the recent amendments to the little for the litter law or the public health law when it comes to littering. So I think there was some mention there. But again, it has strict criteria as to, what you have to do. Where when police are driving through our neighborhoods, and we all have neighborhoods and roads, that the issues are safety of our children when the cars are parked on the sidewalks, especially around our primary schools and stuff where the kids walk to school, and safety of our citizens when the sidewalks or the curbs are blocked and they have to walk out into the road to go around the vehicle. A massive issue is the ability for ambulances to get to people when they need to in these communities. And then, of course, I think in many of our communities, but certainly in mine, in the Washington Boulevard area, is that the garbage isn't being collected because the bins are blocked by vehicles.
Yeah.
So I think, we've tried. I personally have walked through the neighborhood with police officers. We've contacted people that own cars. They've called in cars to check to make sure they're registered and all these things. But it's as we cleared the streets, and by the time we were driving back out in the neighborhood, cars were back again.
Wow.
So I think once they see the tow truck coming in and towing away vehicles, you'll see the end of all of that. If police start to utilize that
you have to pay a fine to get your vehicle back.
Yes, you have to pay storage and a fine to get your vehicle back. And of course, like I said, it will help with all of the massive issue they have of people selling vehicles without actually transferring them. So you can't hold the owner liable for parking tickets, speeding tickets, all these things.
Yeah. And another option, if government has an issue in terms of storage, you can amend the legislation that allows private entities, private companies, on the direction of, an authorized person to tow a vehicle away. If they have their own private compound for it, they charge storage by the day. So the owner of that vehicle at the end of the day has to compensate that private company that has towed the vehicle and has stored it in order for them to be able to retrieve their vehicle as well. So you could spread it out.
You could
so
spread
it doesn't
out.
become just the responsibility of the police.
You could spread it out, and I think a hybrid of the police identifying a vehicle and calling the tow company, because the police also has to write the ticket at the same time or log it as to why this is obstructing sight on a corner. It's parked on a sidewalk and stuff like that. In cities where the roads are completely paved, the sidewalks are all established, and signage is all there. You there's no doubt in your mind whether you park here or don't park. In those places, the tow trucks can come, take a picture, boom, hook it up and gone. But in our side roads here, they're all chip and spray and grass curbs and all that sort of stuff. I think a hybrid of that certainly could work, yes.
And private companies might not be too keen on taking away the derelict vehicles.
Yeah, it's different here when people know you, a small community. But I think once the police start to do that, OC, you will see a change in attitudes. And then what the reaction, I guess the secondary benefit of that will be that landlords will have to start making space for their tenants to park.
Yes.
Right? So when your tenants' cars are being towed away because you have nowhere for them to park, and you start losing tenants, then you will have to start making space in the properties for your tenants to park. So, I think overall this would be a very beneficial approach.
That's a good segue into another cars and traffic. The other concern, the perennial concern, was around traffic, and that leads to me to think that if we finally get to that point where we have an improved national transportation system, there won't be a need for as many cars as we have, and we might have less of an issue with the cars being abandoned possibly, and parking issues. So we see, I just want to remind the listening public that when my leader, colleague, Joey Hugh, was minister. He was on the path of seeking someone to a suitable company, some experts to come and look at what transportation we needed for the next 25, 30 years, whatever it was, right, Joey?
Mm-hmm.
He demitted office, and then the new government came in. There's been a number of reports and reviews and so on. November 2023. Sorry, there was a Deloitte report. I didn't write down the date for that, but it was a Deloitte report that cost us $200,000 at one point. November 2023, Cabinet agreed to set up a Department of Transportation. 2024, we brought in UK transportation experts to look at charting, and I have this in brackets, a new course for transportation. 2025, we had the PricewaterhouseCoopers report, which the public won't see because I did ask that question. And 2026, I have question marks because we're now going to a procurement around joining together the, let me get the three departments correctly. NRA is one.
Public transport.
Public transport. You know what the other one was?
I don't know, but it's going to be a monster.
Yeah. so three key departments to deal with roads and transportation.
Is it DVDL?
DVDL, yeah. So I don't know what that then means for at what point are we going to be able to arrive at a solution, not just for today, not just talking about buses for today. Maybe buses is a long-term solution, but are there other things we should be looking at? A solution for Cayman. You need to go to a break?
Yeah.
We'll pick this up on the other end.
Okay, folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite Band-Aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. But don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
She hear clunk and her car stop. I was just about to send her some money, so I send it straight to her JN Money Transfer card. It cost me less, and perhaps she use the card, pay the garage right away. She'll get discount through the JN Rewards program in Jamaica. This card make things easy. You can even get funds at any multi-link ATM.
JN Money Transfer Card. Fast, affordable, convenient. Tell your loved ones in Jamaica about it. Sign up is free.
Cayman Art Week is back and bigger than ever, with art on show at over 50 venues across all three islands from Tuesday the 26th to Sunday the 31st of May. From one-off pop-ups and creative collaborations to open studios and late-night gallery hours, all events are free and there's art on sale for every budget. Join a guided bus tour or visit at your own pace. You'll find everything you need to know at CaymanArtWeek.com.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. Before I pass the mic over to our guests in the studio, we do have a request for birthday greetings to go out to Hadass Minzet Vernon. That's coming from her parents, Michelle and Anthony. Also, her sister, Zanita, brothers, Jinu, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Jinu, and Joseph, Aunt Monique, and grandmother Sheila, and all the Minzet and Solomon family from Mans Road in Dallas. Remember that? It's called Bontown, Dallas, Texas. You know the reason for that, right? At one time in Cayman, a lot of shootings, and it took place in the Bontown area.
Oh, really?
That's why
Okay.
they call it Dallas, Texas, after the assassination of John F. Kennedy.
Okay.
As well. So happy birthday greetings again, going out to Hadassah Minzet Fernan.
Happy birthday.
Okay.
Happy birthday.
Gentlemen.
Thank you. Also, before the break, we're talking about public transport and the fact that since 2023 or thereabouts, there's been a number of reports and reviews around transportation, and where we're going now is to merge the National Roads Authority, the Department of Drivers Licensing, and the Public Transport Unit into one single unit. And that is what the government is saying will be the solution to help improve our traffic woes and our transportation woes. That's going to be a huge...
In particular, they're saying, I don't know why, but...
Yeah, that's going to be a huge department.
Mm-hmm.
Yet it may be intertwined, related somehow, but I don't know the benefit of putting driver's licensing in with the National Roads Authority or with the Public Transport Unit. That just seems like a way to drag out this process even more, to introduce another large, possibly cumbersome government entity, that then starts to lose its focus about what it is supposed to be focusing on. Right? The NRA is quite simple right now. Their focus is on roads, and in making sure roads are safe, building roads, keeping them maintained. Department of Driver's Licensing, quite simple. Right? Their role is make sure that people have licenses, that the processes run correctly,
that they're qualified,
exactly, and that people are qualified to drive on the roads. And public transport is public transport. If we're going to focus on public transport, let's just focus on that. I don't know of any major improvements that we need to do to the Department of Driver's Licensing. There may be something around the license plates, if they all have the new license. NRA are doing a decent job, right? There may need some more funding if that's available. But why are you going to put these three entities into one structurally large entity?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Keep them separate. They are focused now on what they do, right? I'm not fully convinced. I'll say this because it started happening during the government I was a part of. I'm not convinced that moving all those entities into an off-rig has really, at the end of the day, been that beneficial. I'm being frank.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'll leave that there. But keep them separate. The focus on the Department of Public Transportation. Look at what we need for public transport for the Cayman Islands for the next 30, 40, 50 years. This is going to be another. So we spent $200,000 on the Deloitte. We spent $300,000 on the Price Waterhouse, was it? I don't know what we spent on when the people from the UK came down here. There was 2 individuals that came down, and then we're going to be spending more money again on some consultants to come in and to help us look at how we're going to merge these 3 entities.
Yeah.
And we're not going to have a public transportation system at the end of it, or we're not going to have a way forward for public transportation as far as we're at the end of it. You want to say something, Leader?
Well, I was going to just say, add to that when we're talking about public transport, when we're talking about housing, these have been issues that have been with the same minister now for 5 years, and what we're not seeing is clearly defined plans. We're certainly not opposing the goal, but what we are challenging is the deliverability, credibility. I mean, what they're doing is putting government bureaucracy ahead of an actual plan. So, when you talk about merging and creating this massive organization that is going to benefit getting a good public transport plan, I don't agree with that. What we want to see, what we've been looking for, is measurable commitments. We are going to do this by this date. Here's a budget for it. Here's the plan. It's the same thing with housing. The document that they released the other day under a lot of hoopla is a framework. There's no plan in there. Yep. It doesn't talk about how you do it. It doesn't give deliverables. It doesn't give timelines. It doesn't give KPIs. There's nothing there. It just tells us all what we already know. We need houses. We know that housing is an issue now. It's going to be an issue in the future. We know that we can't build ourselves out of it. We need private sector. But what it doesn't tell us is how are you going to do it? That's the elephant in the room. And what we're seeing is we're going to create this and we're going to create this entity and create that entity. But
and
what
do more
are they
studies.
going to do? What are they going to do?
We got about 5 minutes before you leave us, Mr. Leader.
Yeah, so, OC, I know I will be leaving you in very capable hands when I'm gone. But I just want to say that, the listening tour as we're talking about these things, and we have many, many more wonderful subjects to come up with that. But, we are going to continue this, and we see the importance in it. We see the importance of hearing directly from our residents and how they are impacted by the decisions we make and what are the areas that they want us to represent. And even if that is just coming in on the radio and advocating or shining light to these issues, this means the world to them, and this is what has been missing. What we're really trying to achieve here, and what I really felt coming out of the meeting, both meetings, but certainly the meeting last Thursday, is that now we have what we feel is participatory democracy. What we feel is participatory politics. Because we even had the question come up, OC. Someone said, can you please explain to us all here, because we're a little confused, what exactly is the role of the opposition? How does it work? And we went in to talk about that, what we do, how we can help you. This is a part of our role to have, even to admit and say that, listen, we can accept that government ministers have, more demands than we may have. So they may not be able to come out as often, but we certainly will make sure that we're here to listen to you. And here is how we can get action for you. We can come and advocate on the radio. We can write to ministers. We can bring private members' motions
or bills
to the parliament. We can ask parliamentary questions on your behalf. So, this is the thing that people can come in, and a lot of, I said to them, the one we had in Georgetown, we had it the night before Parliament. And it just so happened that I think there was a statement on health, on health or something, but a lot of the discussion on that night was about Health Services Authority and health care.
Okay.
Yep.
And right there, we were able to make amendments, give input from what we learned the night before at that meeting.
Wow.
And so for us, that is called participatory democracy. That is where we are bringing the people into our caucus now and saying, what do you want us to ask for you? What motions do you want us to bring for you? How would you like to see your communities evolve? What are your needs, and how can we help you? So, we think we are achieving that, even though the crowds may be on the smaller but in very, very enthusiastic side. But we certainly are achieving that, and we'll continue to do that and evolve.
And both meetings were like that in terms of the enthusiasm and the things they brought forward.
And once people start to realize the effectiveness of it, then you probably will get more participation as well.
We had one participant on Thursday night who was speaking to us, but really speaking to his neighbors and stuff. And he's saying, listen, where are you? Because, this is he gave MP Roy Tatum kudos and saying, we wanted, lines in the road. We wanted street lights, speed bumps. And now we got them. So where are you? Come on out. Let's talk. Let's continue this action, right? And he was calling. It was a call of action from his neighbors and the people in his community to come out and participate.
Okay, and any departing comments from you?
No, OC, thank you. And just to remind you, I'll be away next week, but there'll be people from my team here with you next week. And so I will see you in a couple of Wednesdays' time.
Okay, safe travels.
Thank you. And yeah, good to be back. And I'll leave you with some very able persons to fill you in on all of the other wonderful things we're doing.
Certainly. And folks, those able persons will be back and For the Record as soon as we return from our headline news. So don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. For the Record, we'll be back shortly.
Radio station. Radio Cayman is the voice of the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
The regiment welcomes the new UK Defence Attaché to the Caribbean, Lieutenant Colonel Dack, based in Jamaica, for his first official visit to the Cayman Islands. During the visit, he was briefed on the regiment's strategy to achieve, quote, full operational capability by 2030, while regimental staff received updates on planned UK support across the region during the hurricane season. In international news, U.S. President Donald Trump has landed in Beijing for a high-stakes two-day visit with his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping. Trump was greeted on the tarmac by the Chinese vice president, as well as flag wavers chanting, quote, welcome. The U.S. president has been accompanied by tech bosses including Tesla's Elon Musk and NVIDIA's Jensen Huang. Tariffs, the competition over tech, and the Iran war in Taiwan are on the agenda for the two superpowers. And the Princess of Wales received an enthusiastic welcome from Italian crowds on her return to overseas visits following her treatment for cancer. There were shouts and cheers for Catherine and a homemade poster reading, Ciao, Kate, as she appeared in the Piazza of Reggio Emilia. Catherine received an official welcome at the town hall from the mayor and spoke to a group of local school children in a city known for its philosophy of supporting early years education. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Your Cayman Islands Health Services Authority has been the national healthcare provider of the Cayman Islands for many generations. We have elevated our level of care to ensure you, our patients, have the best possible experience. We offer better access to care close to home with the most locations on all three islands, delivering a full range of primary, secondary, tertiary, and emergency care. HSA is a JCI accredited organization, and we are committed to caring for you.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. I want to share some of the WhatsApp messages that we received from some of our listeners. This person says, good morning. In regards to the littering and derelict vehicles, it's high time to find these inconsiderate people. We clean up the debris on the sides of the road one week, and the next week it needs cleaning again. Not fair to those day breaking at 5 a.m. to clean up, and those that stay enjoy extra sleep, just ignoring the littering law. And do I have Another one, someone sent a photograph of a car that has been parked in Newlands, for quite a while as well. I think there's a voice note that at some point in time, Ms. Susan, if you can check that voice note, we can see what is there. Meanwhile, I want to welcome our new panel in the studio, or not a completely new one, but addition to the panel, the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Pearlina McGaw-Lumsden, and Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Kenneth Bryan. Folks, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having us again. Of course, good morning to the Cayman Islands. I hope everyone is having a really good Wednesday. Thank you for having us.
Good morning, OC. Like my colleague, thank you for having us this morning. It's a pleasure to be on here. Hoping to continue the conversation from where our leader left off. So I think we can save the time and get straight to it.
Certainly.
Well, see, I'll just wrap up with that last point I was making with, for the benefit of my colleagues, we were discussing transportation, this proposed merger of the NRA, Department of Driver's Licensing and Public Transport Unit into one massive unit, and we were trying to make sense of it. Therefore, I brought a question to the Minister, which stated, can Honourable Minister confirm that the organizational review by PricewaterhouseCoopers in 2025 relating to agencies within the Ministry responsible for transport, including National Roads Authority, Department of Vehicle and Driver's Licensing, and the Public Transport Unit, has been completed, and whether the report will be made available to members of this Honourable House? And the response was the organizational review conducted by PricewaterhouseCoopers in 2025 has been completed, so we found that out. But the report forms part of internal government work and is confidential and such is not being made available. I really don't know what could be so confidential, but I went on to say, well, if there's particular sensibilities with the report, would the report be made available to the public once everything is sorted and those sensibilities are not so sensitive anymore? And the response was no. I've since been whispered to me that there may be a non-disclosure clause in that report. I don't know if that's the case or not. But regardless, people's purse paid for that report. Once you get to a point where whatever concerns there are about the information in it, if it is part of other negotiations, once that has happened, I don't see why we can't understand. That report supposedly guided the decision around merging these three entities. I would like to know, as a parliamentarian, what is the rationale for that? I've yet to hear and understand the rationale for it, and the public needs to know as well. I think we're going to end up with a massive beast that's not going to fix anything for us, potentially make things worse. I would like to have my concerns alleviated, and seeing the basis, the report, the basis of what the decision was made on, would certainly go a long way towards that. Any comments? Or?
I just thought it'd be important to highlight the key component about the housing report that the leader was speaking about before, with the report suggesting there's a 3,000 shortfall of housing availability. Let me say that again. 3,000. So there's 3,000 Caymanians who needs homes. Currently, right now, there's over 815 persons waiting at the housing, national housing.
3,000 Caymanians or families?
Caymanian families,
yeah. So and more than 3,000.
That is significant. Hence the reason the leader you had heard said before the break that announcing reports as opposed to a tangible plan is where we're trying to get down to the nitty-gritty. We know in politics, you say, oh, we're going to fix everything. Oh, and something that really, I think, bothers a lot of us in our party is what we need to do is this. You were elected on that campaign of we need to do. Now you're in power. Don't tell me what you need to do. Tell me what you're going to do. And that's where we're trying not to be overly political, but try to hold the government to some commitments. And we're still seeing a lot of ambiguity. So we will continue that line. But I do think that the Honourable Speaker of the House want to share some recent travels, which she did. Deputy Speaker. Maybe I'm speaking things into existence. I'm not sure. So before we go back into the listening tour, maybe we can give her an opportunity to speak about her recent travels.
Thank you so much, Deputy Leader. OC, I'm not too sure if you're familiar or you know that or you're fully aware that I was actually traveling to the Maldives about a week and a half ago. And what I did was actually attended the CPA small branch, which is the theme this year was empowering small parliaments and legislators to tackle big challenges. And to me, from a personal standpoint, I can honestly tell you the people in the Maldives is Cayman kind times two. Really and truly. It was a beautiful destination, but the people were really pleasant and they were very hospitable to us. So I really want to take the time to say thank you to them, if anyone is listening, of course. But from a professional standpoint, there were various different topics that were discussed. First and foremost, the separation of powers seems to be on everybody's agenda when it comes to these workshops and these CPA meetings. And what was interesting, is always interesting, is having dialogue with the people in the room, because they come from various different jurisdictions. And for us, one thing that stood out with regards to Cayman is that when it comes to senior judges, when we appoint senior judges, that rests with the governor of the Cayman Islands along with judicial, I think it's called Judicial and Legal Service Commission. Yes. Whereas in St. Lucia, the executive is actually they participate in appointing their judges. And that in itself has significant consequences, because then you're talking about influence that can be from a political standpoint. So that was an eye-opener for me, to be honest. And like I said, the most important thing is always dialoguing and see how jurisdictions actually tackle so many different things. And for us, I was very proud to represent Cayman, because we are so much far ahead when it comes to other jurisdictions, whether it comes from separation of powers. And also another huge topic was the Public Accounts Committee, PAC. And for a jurisdiction like St. Lucia, they meet once every 2 years. And for us, I know our PAC committee had already met this year maybe 3 or 4 times, Mr. Roy and Ken, 4 times already. And they were establishing how important that oversight committee is. And the challenges that they were facing with regards to their PAC committee, that nobody wants to meet, nobody don't want to answer to the public, nobody don't want to question the government, how the spending is actually being done. And it was, again, a proud moment for us, because we have so many checks and balances in place. But it was about 25 individuals that actually attended the workshop.
Were most of them from independent countries?
Independent countries, like it was Samoa, Scotland, the Maldives, Cayman Islands, St. Lucia. St. Lucia, Belize, and Cayman Islands were the only Caribbean region individuals that represented. And so, like I said, it was really very, very informative. Another aspect that was discussed was budgeting as well. How far in advance should we get the numbers so that we can dissect those numbers, so we can have proper dialogue with stakeholders in the Cayman Islands? And of course, something that we do is the strategic policy statement. They don't even have that in most countries, to give them an overview and a high-level review of what is to actually be anticipated in the budget. So that was something that we have done as well, and done it very well. But like I said, the budget, they were there discussing when should we as parliamentarians receive that budget. And we said at least 8 weeks out, because that would give us enough time. As you know, the budget isn't a one-day situation where you can just look at it and decipher and analyze and ask the proper questions. We don't get ample time to analyze. So that was a topic of discussion that was very, very insightful. One thing and one downfall, or one recommendation that I did say at the very end of the workshop, was that we should look up. 3 days wasn't enough. It's too many topics for us to analyze and to dissect and to learn and to retain and apply it. We also had case studies, which was really, really good. So we broke off into groups. And the case studies were very realistic situations. And that put a lot of things and prompt your mind into, you know what, if this happens, we definitely know that this is the solutions, or we can approach it from this standpoint or that standpoint. Even with that, I did address that with them, that maybe 2 or 3 days before the workshop, we get the case study so we can dive into it and analyze it so much more in depth than we actually do, and have so much to offer. But again, 3 days was not enough for the workshop. We needed at least 5 to 6 6 days because it is a lot of information to retain. I stand here and I'm quite, or I sit here and quite admirable of Mr. Roy and the leader because over the years, they have garnered so much information, and to apply it now is something that I'm trying to do. And like I said, it just wasn't enough days for us to get that information, to dissect it, to understand it, to retain it, and now apply it.
Yeah. Is this held annually?
It's held annually.
Okay.
Yes. It's held annually. And then the next 2 CPA meetings that's actually coming up is the regional, which will be held in Jamaica in August. And then October will be the other one, and that's in South Africa. Mr. Deputy Leader, which one is in South Africa? The regional is in Jamaica, and then the one in South Africa is
the nationals.
The global one. So that's in South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's the one where we sit behind the UK as opposed to have...
No.
We're we have a seat at the table?
Yes, we do.
Okay. I didn't. Yeah.
Okay.
And for those in the public who might not know this,
it's the Commonwealth
CPA
government meeting.
That's the larger one,
Yeah.
where over 300 delegates attend. How many?
Definitely over 300. I think it was closer to 400.
Okay. Mr. Roy, sorry.
Bearing in mind now, this is a Commonwealth Parliament,
right.
So it's about the way we run our parliaments. Advice is a teaching organization that is made up of a representative of every single parliament. So we have 2 voting members that will be sitting at the table. Okay. We're not big enough because from a parliamentary perspective, let's say, for instance, India, if you remember, India has, I think, about 40 different parliaments within India itself. So they will have 2 each. So when they come with a major entourage. So it's but it's the breeding ground for democratic principles of the Commonwealth system. So particularly for new members like the Honourable Deputy Speaker, it's a perfect place to understand.
And myself.
And you're sorry. Sorry. I was just thinking because she's just
I know.
But as you know, Mr. Tatum also went to one recently as well.
Yeah.
These things are important, and we intend to continue, particularly for our newer members, to continue to go to these events because even for myself, who I'm now on my 3rd term. What I learned in 2017, there may be new procedural matters or updated protocols with how you do things within the Parliament and the thinking behind the new electorate. So that continues to learn. But that was that trip. I know we got to go to a break. When we come back, though, we want to finish the points of the listening tour as well as give a sneak peek into the government's recent financial report for the first quarter, which gives us some serious indications to the future that we will dive in further on with the Honourable Roy McTaggart at the next radio appearance. But I think people need to start paying attention to the numbers because now the proof is in the pudding as per where we're going as the future.
Okay, so when we return from the commercial break, I'll read this in advance. And a person says, great that the PPM has discovered their community voices, but I heard no mention of advisory district councils. With that, we'll take the commercial break and you can respond on our return. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Cineco's parametric insurance after hurricanes is now available for motor policies. Fixed automatic payouts cover incidental vehicle expenses like fuel, cleanup, and minor repairs. No claims, no damage required. $200 for comprehensive policies or $100 for third-party policies. Available exclusively through Cineco and included with all new motor insurance policies and upon renewal for current policies. Visit Cineco.ky today. Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
Get ready to ride for a cause. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman presents Ride for Sight, Sunday, May 31st at 10 a.m. Join your community at the Cayman Turtle Center and cruise through the scenic route to Lower Valley. And it's more than just a ride. Enjoy refreshments after the event and know that every mile helps the Lions Sites program and the LCIF Foundation. Make a real difference in the community. Sponsored by Cayman Distributors and the Cayman Turtle Center. For more info, call 916-7634. That's 916-7634. Don't miss out. Ride for a cause. Ride for sight.
Social media, X, formerly Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Interact with our talk shows on YouTube. Download our official Radio Cayman app, or you can log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky. You can also add us to WhatsApp
on 925-3261.
All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Radio Cayman.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. For those of you who are just joining us in the studio, we have Deputy Speaker, Honourable Pearlina McGaw-Lumsden, Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Kenneth Bryan, and Member of Parliament representing the constituents of Red Bay, Mr. Roy Tatum. Folks, so the comment that was made by the person, they were congratulating you and finding your community voice, but they haven't heard anything about advisory district councils.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. I'm happy to report that if the author of that message may recall, there was a recent motion passed in Parliament by the Honourable Minister J.E. Banks after a working partnership with him and myself for me to withdraw my original motion that speaks about a review of the District Council's legislation and potentially review of our Constitution in respect to our obligations. And he subsequently submitted that motion. Motion was passed for a select committee to review it. I'm happy to report that we had our first committee meeting about reviewing the legislation so we can finally agree to something as to the way forward to our constitutional obligation. You may have remembered me speaking about that. So the committee is made up of myself, the Honourable Juliana Connolly, former Premier, Minister J.E. Banks is the Chair, Minister Nicholas Da Costa, as well as Mr. Christopher Saunders. Now, I think that is a good wealth of historical experience, as well as a balance on the floor of Parliament. And we had some substantive discussions. The Attorney General will give us some legal interpretations. And we've even asked a particular, I won't say the name, a particular senior legislator, former legislator, to come and potentially work with us to get down to the finer details so we can have something to bring to Parliament for we all to agree with the hopes of making some amendments, potentially either to the Constitution or just the legislation in itself, depends on the interpretation by the Attorney General's office. So we're hoping that before the end of this year, a final report can be done and Parliament can agree to that, where direct participation by the public can be involved through the Advisory District Council. So I don't want to say any more to that, but I'll ask the chairman to actually do a press release update so people are minded, and that's the Honourable J.E. Banks. Mr. Connor, I don't want us to shy away too much, but I know that you may have had a voice note. I don't know if you want to play it, but my colleague and the Honourable Leader were speaking about our recent listening tour. And two other areas were major points were the cost of living pressures. And the Honourable Member did put a significant question to the Honourable Minister of Finance. And I'm going to ask him if he can weigh in on the potential responses and what those indications were from the inflationary measures, which we knew as a party was going to be the case, and now the data is presenting that. And then after that, we can go into the financial forecasting for the first quarter of this year.
Yeah. We went into some of this last time we were here, I believe, if memory serves me. But the question I posed was asking the Minister whether, in light of recent developments in the Middle East, the government has received or requested any updated projections or estimates from the ESO, Economics and Statistics Office, or other sources regarding inflation or broader cost of living pressures in the Cayman Islands during 2026? And if so, what those projections indicate? And as I've said before, and as I said on the floor to the minister, they were even more dire than I even thought they were, which is it's estimated that the latest projections for 2026 is higher than the 2.6% that they had in their plan during the budget time. And you may recall, I mentioned this before, but even that number, I think it was the deputy leader who raised the question to them during the budget time, whether their numbers that they were presenting for cost of living, the projections included the
revenue
measures that they were bringing, and the answer was no.
Mm-hmm.
So it was even flawed then. But the updated forecast indicated, is what the response said, indicated that the headline inflation is expected to rise to approximately 5.3% in 2026.
100% increase.
Yep.
In inflation.
Yep.
That's a significant thing.
Yep. It's going to double before, compared to the period last year. And it says before easing to approximately 4.1% in 2027. Now, I know these use of the words easing and so on, but as we've mentioned before, inflation is cumulative. Price goes. So when we say easing, all that means is it's not going to go up as fast as it has been, but it's cumulative. So go ahead.
I think it is important, Mr. Corner, to highlight there that at that time of that assessment, it was with hopes of the global oil problem at the Strait, was hopes of a ceasefire and potential resolve of the matter between the United States and Iran. We now have seen since then in the last 2 weeks that there seems to be no resolve, and the Strait is still closed with global circumstances still being the same. We've also seen a major departing from OPEC, which is going to affect the fuel prices. So there's even more reason for concern, which drives me now to the financial quarter report that came out at the end of March, but the release came out just last week, that talked about...
Can I add one thing
yes,
before you do that?
please.
The impact of that war with Iran is impacting fuel prices. But it's impacting more than fuel prices, as we've discussed before, and as the deputy leader has raised before here. Aviation fuel, the cost of fertilizer, therefore the cost of food. We're going to see some sadly, and I really hope I'm wrong, we're going to see possibly see some real big increases in a wide swath of things across our islands by this time next year. So it's really concerning, and I want to give kudos to the deputy leader, because I borrowed something he said on the show, and I raised it to the minister, which was, are we going to start doing a series of public service announcements to remind people to conserve, to save, to start thinking about, we don't want to over dramatize it, but to start thinking about how you're living day to day, because it will potentially get harder. And I think that's hugely important to just remind people of that. Because me raising it in the house and having a newspaper article and me screaming about it on social media, and coming in here and talking with the leader and the deputy speaker is one thing, but that's in the moment. People need to be reminded constantly, repetition. So,
because it is one way to solve the cost of living inflation point, which is reminding people that things that you can cut back on that are not necessary. Maybe, that extra little trip you wanted to go on, maybe let's postpone that until things are a little bit better.
Right.
Or the expansion to the part of the back of the house. Do you have to have it? Let's not do it right now, because we are unfortunately predicting some things are going to be even harder than they are now. We don't want to tell you that, but we have to be honest, because then it makes, when things get hard, it's not as hard as it could be.
Yeah. It's not even so much us predicting, sorry to interrupt, it's the government.
Yeah. Correct.
The government telling us, because we asked. If we hadn't asked the question, I don't know when they would have come out and provide this to us.
Interestingly enough, Honorable Roy McTaggart and myself highlighted this during the budget and warned them. So the warnings were there. It's just they didn't concede to them with their financial revenue measures that they have now increased, which has added to the inflationary cost. You heard the member talk about the 2.6 wasn't real then, and it still isn't real today. But tying back to the speaking of the town hall, that was one of the major issues risen. Issues discussed included groceries and utility costs being so high for them. It also talked about the housing affordability. Rent is also going up because all the other costs go up, rent goes up. The only thing that I think can be seen as a positive, and I have to highlight the positives as well, is that the interest rate seems to have dropped. Nobody talks about good things. So I want to highlight that. And it seems to be still staying on a downward trajectory. I'm hoping that that will maintain, because that does affect like your mortgage cost. Mortgages will affect rent costs because people take out mortgages to build places and then to rent them. And obviously landlords will raise the price if their interest rates on their mortgages go up. So that's a positive indicator.
But with inflation going up in the U.S. now,
we have
despite having a new, they will soon have a new chair of the Federal Reserve.
Yes.
There's that strong likelihood that
it may come back up.
Yes,
interest
rates may rise.
I really hope not, but that's the only positive thing that I've seen within the last year of this administration, is that the global circumstance from that, and that seems to be changing now. The last point on the cost of living with our tour was the financial pressures on the working family is just getting overbearing, and they're asking for further relief from the government, and we're going to continue to act on the people's voices.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we're going to go to a commercial break. So when we return, we want to talk about that further relief, because within a government, there are limitations in terms of what you can do, in terms of providing relief. There's some things that completely out of the government's, control, and some that are within their control. How much is within the government's control and remit to provide relief as well? And Ms. Susan, can you check that voice note that was sent in, so that we want to play that immediately after we return from this commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Did you know that you can send money transfers to financial institutions anywhere in Jamaica with JN Money?
You mean I can send money straight to my account and cut out the middleman?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. You send your own money to your own account, giving you peace of mind that the money is in your account.
JN Money Transfers to Financial Institution is another convenient service offered by JN Money. You can have this done from any JN Money location. Deposit your money straight to your account without the hassle of asking someone to do it for you. JN Money Transfers to Financial Institutions, making life easier.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget, our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
The Ministry of Education and Training invites eligible Caymanians to apply for a local scholarship for the 2026-2027 academic year. If you haven't applied yet, you still have time. The deadline has been extended to Sunday, 31st of May, 2026. To apply or learn more about the various scholarship offerings, please visit www.moescholarships.gov.ky. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Education and Training.
With Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have a voice note from one of our. You're not ready to play it now, Ms. Susan? Okay. It's not.
I think you were speaking, Mr. Connor, in respect to the possible ways the government can give benefit back to the people and the limitations that they have.
Yeah, yes.
Now, I want to thank my colleague, the member from Georgetown East, and our side for putting forward the motion that the government accepted. I think we are deserving of that credit that the government is now going to give us some fuel reduction from not only at the pump, but also with CUC and cooking gases at home. But it's only going to go so far, right? The increases in fuel prices in the last 4 months now have gone up, I think, $1.80 on average. The fuel reduction at the pump is only at 75 cents, because that's the maximum they can take off. So we've only given a 75 cents relief per gallon because of the People's Progressive Movement. But we want more than that, in conjunction with the government, obviously. But we think there's some other areas they can do with the projected cost increase of food due to inflationary elements of travel costs, shipping costs, and all these things. Maybe the government can consider a fuel reduction on a duty reduction on food, at least for a period of time. So that's one. Food reduction costs, because we got to talk about the essentials for people's living. The other one is, you would recall in December, the Honorable Minister DaCosta announced that the Water Authority would go up, increase their cost on water. I think it's a time for the minister to get out publicly and say he will instruct the authority not to do so this year, particularly in the heat wave, which is, I'm hoping, is cool down a lot more. And the inflationary costs that we're seeing, can they delay that? It is a government-owned company, so we have the authority from the executive to direct. I know that the good, hard-working people at Water Authority are deserving of that money for the asset purposes. But if we're talking about relief efforts for the people directly, Water Authority is one of them. The other one is...
The Water Authority also has I don't know the exact amount, but millions upon millions upon millions in reserves.
Yes. The other part was that obviously shipping, importation will increase. And we're considering asking the minister if there is duty waivers we can do for importation on the shipping component at Port Authority. So we in the opposition are now examining another set of requests. I think it's fair, the Honorable Deputy Speaker, do you want to mention that thing we were talking about off air or no?
No.
It was a bit of a surprise. Okay,
That's
there's
a
another
surprise.
measure that by next week Wednesday, when we're back on the show, we will say a number of things that we expect the government to do. And I know a lot of times people say, well, what about everybody in the private sector and their salaries? Because of what I'm about to say, but unfortunately, the government doesn't have any control over private sector salaries. But what the government does have control over is the civil service and public service salaries. And if you can't reduce the expenses of the people, the other equation is reducing cost or increasing income. That's the way you help people deal with inflation. So another element, particularly with the surpluses the government is talking about they have, is to give the civil service and public sector the cost of living adjustment that is due to them, in my opinion. So that's another way to help when we're talking about ways to help the people, because you're right, we don't have a direct taxation system to do that. So those are just some things that we're considering to put forward. Whether the government will accept them, I'm hoping that with our agitation and advocation for these things, maybe we wouldn't even have to bring something to Parliament. What I would hope is to see the Honourable Nicholas DaCosta make a press release tomorrow saying the government has decided Water Authority fees will not go up this year, and I don't have to bring a motion, or we don't have to bring a motion.
Yeah.
So, but they are fully aware of our intent with what we're saying on the radio. We're not hiding it. We just want it done so that people get some relief. But with that being said,
yeah, just quickly, the other thing to bear in mind, and just two things we've raised on the show before, as these prices are increasing, I'm going to put gasoline to one side because that is that's a fixed amount. But as prices of goods are increasing, when we pay duty, when shopkeepers pay duty, they pay duty on these increased amounts.
Correct.
So government is getting more money. Right? So we need to weigh that into the equation as well. They're best placed than we are, where we are to understand what it is that they can and cannot do. When I looked at food prices some years back, I believe there's a lot of duties off of lots of food items. But I think I'm correct. If I'm wrong, then I apologize at the time. But if I'm right, this should be looked at. But meats should not have large duties on. I know we have our local farmers and so on, but they can only supply so much. Medicines, I've discussed this, I mentioned this in Parliament before. In my view, there should be no, I've said it on the show, there should be no duties on medicines that people need to live. None at all. I have a family member who at one point required a drug every 3 weeks that cost several $1,000s. And a large part of that cost was because there was duty on it. So we should not, well, I shouldn't say a large part because it's expensive in any event. But medicines is another area we should be looking at. But the government has said that they're doing that, so we'll see how quickly they're actually acting, because this is an urgent matter. I really hope they're treating it with urgency that it does deserve.
And the key to it also is to ensure that those reductions are passed on
to the consumer. Yeah. And I also want to echo the deputy leader's comment with regards to the increase in water authority. I think it's something that the government needs to ponder, because in the report that was recently released, SAGCs recorded a combined surplus of 6.3 million, outperforming obviously what was anticipated. And a major contributor to that was Cayman Airways, believe it or not, and Cayman Islands Airport Authority. So it's something that we can obviously push or ask the minister to try to consider with regards to the increase of water authority. Any little cost of living impact is going to go a long way when it comes to our Caymanians, and that is something that we need to push for.
1 cocoa, full basket. 1 savings helps the pocket.
Okay. We have a voice note and we have a caller on hold. Do we want to take any of those?
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay, let's do the voice note first, Ms. Susan, and then the caller.
Yeah. Good morning, Mr. OC and Radio Cayman. Talk to the listeners. Just hoping to speak to the progressive MPs, but I wasn't able to get a call in, and I think they're going now, or some of them are going. So I just leave a question for discussion, just in case they're still there or it can be put out. In relation to traffic or transportation planning that Mr. Roy Tatum was talking about quite a bit, I wonder whether the progressives have any views or insights, or whether it's been discussed at the your town hall listening tour sessions, which I think are very good, around things like staggered time, those kind of improvements, whether staggered time could be looked at to alleviate some of the bottleneck traffic. Also, a big one is busing for private schools, for private school children. When school is out in the holidays, the summer and whatnot, traffic is so much better, and that's because so many parents are not taking their children to school in their private cars. So does the progressives have any views around that? The third issue around transportation planning and traffic management is the issuance of electronic tickets, speeding tickets, tickets for infractions in the traffic law that can be done by video link, by the speed cameras that are up, or other cameras that are up, whether that can be looked at also. And the fourth point is that monstrosity that is being built at the end of the 7 Mile Beach Road, a huge new Grand Hyatt Hotel. What is the plan for traffic when that opens and all people are trying to get in there or get out onto that little narrow road? Years ago, when they were talking about the cruise ship pier on Harbour Drive, Seafarers Way, one of the concerns was how is traffic going to be accommodated, particularly tour buses going in and out of Georgetown, taking people and bringing them back towards the harbour front. The same thing applies now to that huge concrete monstrosity that planning authority has allowed to be built there on that site. And how is that going to impact traffic flow and bottlenecking and congestion? So I'll just leave those 4 points for the progressives and others to ruminate on about this major problem that we have in the country of traffic congestion.
Okay, we're going to take the caller that we have on hold as well. This way, when we go to the commercial break, then we'll allow you to respond as well. We're going to ask the caller to try to be as brief as possible. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Connor, and good morning to your panel.
Good morning, good morning. How are you?
Morning, brother.
Morning. I suspect it's Pearlina, Kenneth, and Mr. Roy.
Yes.
I apologize if I got that wrong.
No, that's right.
No, that's right. Now I need to specify which Roy. My apologies.
No, that's fine. That's okay.
Yeah, so obviously this is a great
The only
topic,
mistake you made was that my dad was Mr. I'm just still Roy.
Well, my apologies.
No, I'm joking with you.
Yeah, no worries. And I know your father and your brother well.
Mm-hmm.
So just quickly for Mr. Connor, because I heard him say I need to be very quick. In regards to cost of living and cost savings for energy and all that, and this topic has been, floating around for quite some time, and I just want to address the fuel side of it, right? Now, it is absolutely ridiculous that we have to continue to waive duties on fuel, hoping that it will be passed through to the consumer in a way that it's impactful, when there are very simple solutions, and I use the term simple because we are already using diesel generation for core energy. That's already being used, so we don't need to invent that. Now, there are ways that we could be burning fuel way more efficiently. That way, it would be passed on to the consumer, because 100% of all of the fuel that is burnt at the utility company is passed through to the consumer. So that should be a great concern of ours. And in the absence of having regulations that require the one energy provider to put in propane conversion kits on their diesel burning generators, that's going to burn 40 to 50% less in cost-wise, and it's going to be 40 to 50% cleaner. These are things that can take place immediately. Now, I know that you just can't walk into CUC and plug on a conversion kit and get it up and running. It takes some ingenuity and some time. But then why are we not taking those steps in order to put these things in place so that our consumers and local people in these islands could be enjoying the low price of propane and the cleaner environment that propane also provides, other than heavy diesel? Now, there also, and this proposal went into CUC 10, 12 years ago, I know because I was sitting at the table when it was proposed. There is a generator called geothermal generators that could have been retroactively fitted to the existing diesel burning generators and take the wastewater heat, because CUC produced something like 11,000 gallons of wastewater per minute. And I stand corrected because those are the numbers back then. But they have radiators that are set up on CUC compound to reduce the temperature of that water before it's pumped into the North Sound. And it was proposed to them to put geothermal generators that would have taken that heat water that was generated 1 megawatt of electricity per generator that would have been free. Now, free when
Caller, could you summarize what your point for us, please?
My point is, Mr. Connor, is that there are innovative ways to reduce the cost of fuel now, as opposed to us continuing to reduce duties and taking that money back out of the government coffers. Anyway.
I wish we had more time, but I have to apologize. We only have about 12 minutes left, and I still have to go to one more commercial break. So our apologies, caller. Thank you very much, folks. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly. Thank you,
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite Band-Aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. But don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy, and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
I was undercover and had just recovered the stolen artwork, but...
Aunt Angie, what does this have to do with managing my insurance?
Well, long story long. I found the art thief in France, but ended up becoming somewhat of a local celebrity. So I had to stick around for a while. But I was able to handle all my insurance needs with CG's online portal.
The online portal. Safe, convenient, simple. CG Britgay. Good like that.
The Spring Labor Force Survey and Quality of Life Survey conducted by the Economics and Statistics Office is currently underway. The Labor Force Survey collects information on employment and unemployment in the Cayman Islands, while the Quality of Life Survey gathers feedback on well-being, financial security, community belonging, and overall life satisfaction. Trained interviewers with official ESO ID cards will visit randomly selected households. All interviews are confidential under the Statistics Act, and no individual information will be published. For details, call the ESO hotline at 516-3329.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Folks, we have about 9 minutes left to go in the show. I'm going to turn the mic
Mr.
over
Connor,
to
with
you.
that being said, I think the first question needs to be answered. Honourable Roy McTaggart is, I think, can address it with the traffic point, because he was dealing with that mainly for the first Mario, because there's two Marios.
Yes.
And I'll just quickly summarize Mr. Mario number 2 afterwards. So Roy,
Roy Tatum, my friend Roy McTaggart is far taller. Better look at him.
So sorry.
I thank the caller for those. And I'll be quick, given the time. But I just want to remind us, remind the country that prior to COVID hitting, and subsequently the elections following, but prior to COVID hitting, our friend and former colleague Austin Harris did a lot of work with private sector people called Vehicle Input. It was the Vehicle Imports and Transportation Committee, where they looked at this issue. And two of the recommendations that are still live is staggered work hours and buses for private schools. Scrolling through, another one here was improved public transport, which is why I was harping early on about that we need to really focus on public transport and take it serious. So those are issues that have been put forward before and presented to Parliament. So it's not impossible to do. We just need to the busing issue for private schools. You just like for public schools, you will have parents still who don't want to put their kids on the public bus, and there will be some who will not want to put their kids on a private bus going to private schools. They will drive them. But at least present the option.
So I think also another option that we need to explore as a community is what are the advantages when it comes to 4-day work week. That is something that we really need to consider in this day and age, because in today's society, what people are looking for is a better work-life balance. And that 4-day work week will create something like that. So there's something that I need to just put out there for us to try to consider, whether we're government or opposition, because we can anticipate, and what we have to look forward for is a better work-life balance, because we know that individuals are stressed. And part of that stress is traffic congestion.
Yeah. Most definitely. And just to top off that bunch of great ideas to traffic relief that we here in the opposition are presenting is the government has to have a holistic national development plan for decentralizing everything from being in one location in the district, the capital. That is probably the key component, plus road infrastructure. I'll say one thing that really has annoyed me is the Honorable Leader, Joey Hugh, did a great job in creating that road plan from off of Eastern Avenue back to the waterfront. And that was developed from when...
Oh, yes.
And it still has not been completed. It's a pet peeve of mine because I think it would alleviate a lot of traffic downtown. And it was supposed to happen before we did the Georgetown revitalization component. That road should have been done first, then the Georgetown revitalization, because part of the Georgetown revitalization is closing of some roads. But before, we already have a traffic problem. You close roads rather than opening up more roads before you do the further
There's some
closure.
connector roads.
Right.
One was one from Mary Street.
Yes, one from Mary Street. That's right.
One from Mary Street down to
Rock Hole area,
Yeah.
and then it will connect onto that new road. So we're gonna ask them the Minister for Roads what's the update on that.
And one coming through by somewhere by Miss Tits or something from somewhere.
Yes.
Miss
Wellington.
Wellington. Yeah, sorry, that's her nickname. That's her nickname.
But we'll get some further updates on that because it does affect the
Yeah.
issue. If I can just quickly say, I'm glad for Mr. Mario Ebanks for asking the question about the hotel. I wouldn't want to call it a what do you call it? Monstrosity. It's a part of our hotel product, and I do think that there are Caymanian investors there, so I will not undermine my Caymanian people. But I'll say this, there is a legitimate concern as to what the traffic effects are going to be on that very narrow road. And I can't say right now I'm aware of what their traffic plan was, but it is a very large hotel with potentially over 300 persons at full capacity, plus workers coming in and out of that very narrow junction already. I'm a big KFC fried chicken type of guy, and I sometimes have problems getting into KFC right there in that corner anyway. So I know the headache. So we will ask a question about that. In respect to second Mr. Mario Rankin, I want to say thank you for his calls. I think his point was simply this. Why cannot we do more examination on strategies to reduce the cost of energy? Because he's right. We're so modernized today that we've had many conversations about this and we've refused to, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's contractual obligations to the main energy provider or we can't change things or there's not political will. But he is right. Just on the mere geothermal solution, he's right. It is a common thing across the globe now, and we have to be more stern because reducing cost of energy is one of the main pillars amongst all the other ones, but that's a more long term, and we promise to keep at that and keep the pressure on. Mr. Connor, we only got 3 minutes for wrap up, so I'm just going to just quickly say that there's something that we will be talking about, and I asked that at the next radio appearance, we're hoping that Roy McTaggart will be able to be here with us with the quarter one financial report. A big key indicator in that is import duties are down by $2 million. It's giving you an indication you're a bigger economy than what you projected. The other one, some people may see this as good, but some people may see this as bad depending on how you interpret it. Work permit fees underperformed by what it was projected by almost 2 million, 1.9. That is significant. Out of what you normally get is about 30 million. So you're talking about almost 10%. That is significant. It's an indicator to your economy. I'm not an economist, but I've done the basic economics 101 and 102 and when I did my degree, and I know that I can read from that. The other one was, which is something that we did advise the government, that people will start to change their behaviors to alter your intended revenue measures. So driver's license fees has underperformed by $2 million. And we said that in the House. Members are going to say, well, okay, then I'm going to cut this and I'm going to drive there. I'm going to drive with this person, or the person went in and get their licenses for 5 years before the fee came in. All of these things, people are going to adjust to save money. And again, the first quarter is showing a deficit or underperformed, not a deficit, underperformed by $2 million. And what that means is the government had hoped to raise this money from these particular provisions, and they didn't do it. So we have to now analyze what the full report in its whole capacity, and I'm only highlighting some of the concerns. There are some positive things, like they made a lot of money on real estate. One would hope it's only on the high-end real estate and not making duties on small Caymanians who are trying to buy their first home. But we have to go into the further detail, and I think the best person suited to do that amongst the People's Progressive Movement in the opposition is the Honorable Roy McTaggart, and he will do so at a further appearance. With that being said, I want to...
If I could ask a question real quickly. So these shortfalls are in terms of projections as opposed to comparing the same period a year ago?
Yeah, well, the short term, the shortfalls would be based on the same period of what they expected at that time. You can read the report. I'm happy to send it to you, but they themselves says it's underperformed by within the first quarter. So you would have a projection for the first quarter.
So it's projection.
It's a projection as opposed to...
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Projection.
This goes back to that little bugbear.
But remember now, let's focus on the word projection.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Everything is based on your projection. This is what you approve your budget for. If your projections are
projected revenue.
if they're not becoming actuals, then we have a situation. So I don't want to take up any more time. My colleagues need to
Brand Source Home Gallery.
Say their closing remarks. So I'll
Go ahead.
Deputy Speaker.
Jessica,
you go ahead.
No, I didn't have anything to add. I was just saying projections.
I'll close by just again wishing Kimberly and Chris happy birthday, and to any of my constituents having a birthday this week, happy birthday and all the very best. And thank you to my committee members, some of you who sent through some notes to me as I was speaking. So thanks again, everybody. All the best. See you. Talk to you.
And I'll close by thanking everybody and for getting involved in this process.
And one of our listeners said, mentioned the fact that talking about roads, they're pointing out that the government still owes Caymanians money for the land that they took to build roads as well. I thought at one point in time that most of that was being resolved. They were trying to wrap up most of that.
Sadly, they're not. And I want to say that the Honourable Leader, Joey Hugh, will be bringing some substantive positions on that. I'll leave it there, but you'll hear about it by next week. All right?
Okay, folks, I want to thank you all. Look forward to seeing you here again next week, God's willing. I want to thank all of those persons who listened in, those persons who sent in questions, as well as the one caller that we had, and we apologize because there was a limited amount of time. Don't forget to continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Mr. Charles Glidden Shallow at 12:15 for Talk Today. Join me tomorrow morning for The Buzz at 7:30 as well. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to continue to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Doctors Hospital, peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. Kirk Market, experience a world of choice. JN Money, from abroad to Yard. And Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
Covering Little Cayman, Cayman Bride.
Cover me.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.